Luther has 2 albums, though.
That's right.
He has a clean album
Let me show
and
you.
a free album.
That's right. And
This is a free country, and we have the right
I've got a
to
right
listen to whatever. And
I don't think I was. Hey,
the parent
Phil.
has
Phil,
right
we
to what
appreciate
his
very much
child
the
listens to.
enthusiasm.
Please,
Phil, let me point out.
Hang on, Wendy.
Phil, I don't think. I don't
let
think
Luther make this point. You don't let your 7-year-old listen to your own work, right?
It's my job as a parent
To make sure your baby is exposed to whatever you want him to listen
to
to
the
and
clean
see and hear.
version.
Okay.
That's why I do 2 versions.
Mr. Thompson has a right to make his point.
Okay,
Sir, go ahead.
But the thing is Mr. Thompson is misleading these people.
All right, you'll have a chance
Mr.
to
Thompson
straighten.
don't even have an office.
All
I
right.
mean, he's a crazy man. He ran after Janerino.
Luther. Please don't.
Miami House stated that Mr. Thompson is about to get disbarred because he's a crazy man. He's barred from radio stations in Dade County. You say Neil Rogers. Say Neil Rogers. I bet he can't say it.
Let him make a point.
Let him say Neil Rogers.
All right.
Phil,
You wanted to make your point.
Yeah, so that you don't get sued. Let me point out that the Florida bar said to me that I'm so concerned about obscenity and so concerned about the sexual abuse of women that I must be crazy. So we sat down and we agreed to have a psychologist and a psychiatrist examine me. And you know what they said my problem was, Luther?
What was it?
They said absolutely nothing. The only problem with Jack Thompson is he's a Christian concerned about women and children.
Okay. While we're at it here.
And let me point out, Phil, these people don't believe
Why
in the
you single us out? Hold on, Jack. Why do you single us out? Why haven't you talk about these groups right here?
These people don't believe because
why haven't you talked
I'll tell you one. I'll tell you one reason.
Why haven't you talked about the X-rated video?
I've been very concerned about what Joe Biafra is doing.
I'm talking about Jack.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Jack.
Luther, please let him make the point. Let him make the point.
For 10 years, I have been educating parents in this country about what we're doing to kids. Some of it's great. Some of it's wonderful. Joe Biafra's penis landscape poster was so explicit, Playboy, when they reprinted it, blacked out the explicit parts.
Yeah.
But a jury could not find the poster illegal.
All right.
Now, this guy advocates suicide in a song called Suicide's Alternative. Sick of life, it sucks, sick and tired.
You'll be sorry.
Let me shut up. Jack, I know you want in.
Just because you don't understand don't make no sense. Just because you don't like it don't mean it ain't no good.
Mike, let the man speak.
Hear you.
Mr. Thompson, sir, you get to speak. Go ahead.
To answer Luther's question, two reasons I've gone after 2 Live Crew, and Luther, you're in more trouble than you know, is because I'm from Miami, the same town as Luther Campbell, and I'm embarrassed that this man, in the New York Times today and last night on NBC News, you portray yourself as a role model from my hometown. And I have an obligation, Luther.
I'm not a role model at the jockey club. I'm a role model with the kids in the community.
He's saying he doesn't come from the same neighborhood that you do.
Luther,
he doesn't speak for the same people
Luther,
you do.
You need to talk to the black parents who call me and say, like a lady from Sarasota, a mother of a 10-year-old daughter, Luther.
I mean,
who
you lying, man.
Phil, are we going to get to talk here or not?
Said what?
And who said, I saw you on the news last night, Jack, and I want to thank you. I'm black and you're white, and I thank you because we had an Easter Day parade 2 weeks ago. Kids, 12 years of age, in that Easter Day parade, called themselves the 2 Live Crew and simulated intercourse in the Easter Day parade. And she's proud of what I'm doing to stop you from peddling obscenity to children of all colors.
Mr. Thompson, not a few people, and your point is on the record, and it's certainly a valid one. Numbers of people of color are upset with what's happening, regardless of what happens to be the ethnicity of the artist. Please let me make this point.
Okay, I got a response.
We have to at least be allowed to wonder whether racism is at work here.
Okay.
And people who are enjoying the kind of music and the lyrics and the idiom that's being used by rap groups want to know about the loftiness of white guys coming over the mountain to presume to save them from this evil force. Where were you when the ghettos were falling down? Where were you when their fathers couldn't get a job because
Phil,
they were black?
I got your point. Can I respond?
Certainly.
2 responses. As Luther knows, the first judge who found probable cause in Florida 6 months ago, and there have now been 5 of them, was in Fort Myers. And when that happened, the media when the media contacted Luther about it, Luther said, quote, "The judge must be racist and Klan," close quote. And the reporter said, "But Luther, the judge is black." Okay? And when I was back in the 60s, I was elected student mayor of my all-white city, and I stood up at the all-white city council meeting that night, and I said, "Folks, we got to desegregate this city because it's illegal to keep blacks out," and that was the first time my life was threatened. So don't tell me I'm a racist, and don't tell a black judge.
Let me ask Mr. Thompson how he feels about this video. Roll the tape. Take a look at this, Mr. Thompson.
Okay, let me put my.
How do you feel about this?
I was deep, incomplete. I'd been had. I was sad and blue, but you made me feel. Yeah, you made me feel shiny and new, like a virgin. Give you all my love, boy. My fear is faded, been saving it all for you.
That is not a video. That's Madonna in concert, the Blonde Ambition tour. You say this is not a...
That's not the point. What's on trial here is supposedly the First Amendment.
Please forgive us for being curious about how you feel about that.
I think that parents had better find out what Madonna's pumping into the brains of their children.
And but she is subject to arrest. I mean, here's the point.
I'm not the one that makes that determination.
Phil, there's not one album that anyone else, in my opinion, in the history of the world has ever done that's
dirtier than Two Live Crew.
That's exactly right.
And we'll be back in just a moment.
I haven't heard much.
Madonna, didn't they? In Toronto. Didn't she have some problems? Come on, Canada, loosen up. You're the kinder, gentler nation. This surprises me. Yeah. Hey, and on the occasion of Madonna's near arrest in Toronto, she had the following thing to say. I'll show you that. It's on the... I would rather have canceled the show than let anybody dictate how I can or cannot express myself as an artist. This is certainly a cause for which I am willing to be arrested. Yes, ma'am.
I want to say that I agree completely with Luther. I think the young man on the end has got a very wrong idea of how black society, as far as dance from my time, from what I understand. What you're talking about is very common street ghetto language, and it's not meant to be offensive. I think that we know that. And the sexual dances that he shows on TV aren't really perceived as people who do them like I do. They're not perceived as being sexual. It's fantasy. It's a way to get loose. It's not as serious as you're making it out to be.
I call it Little Bumble.
Yeah. Can I?
Anybody else? What's the matter? Yes. I have a young woman in the audience.
You say that your shows are for adults, but when you were here 2 months ago, on the ticket to get in, it says you have to be 16 years old. And you say to go to your concerts, it's 18 or older.
Address that to me. That would be our fault. In other words, they might have 16-year-olds seeing this.
But I'm just saying, they don't prove you to get into concerts. I went to concerts when I was 15 and 16 years old without being...
No. You gotta understand what I'm saying. The promoter tells us, hey, look, this show is geared to a kid audience. We do Two Live as clean as we want to be. If the concert says, if the promoter says it's geared to an adult audience, just like the show in Hollywood, those were 21 and older people. They had police officers out there carting those people coming in.
Clubs.
They had police out there carting the people coming in the club, and they still arrested us for performing in the front of adults. Earlier that night, we did a kid show, and they did not arrest us.
That's because this judge ruled that album is obscene and obscenity is not protected by the First Amendment.
For adults. It's easier to buy drugs or alcohol to get into a show. And let me tell you, drugs and alcohol is a lot worse.
Why do you have to pick those certain things to sing about? There's so many things you can think about. You talk about proud things and stuff. do you personally get a kick because you get all this publicity for, like, we're going to cause all this trouble?
Not everybody wants to hear Lee Atwater sing the blues. We want our right to sing it our way, too.
Here's a, yeah.
I'm going to say, I appreciate Luther's willingness to express his opinion. However, I'm having a problem with something. I would like for the lawyer right now to define obscenity, because I don't think anyone in this world can define that word.
Well, the Supreme Court did. It's a three-pronged test. It says it has to be patently offensive and therefore below the community standard.
And what's that mean?
Do you want me to answer or not, sir?
Yes, we do. Please continue.
Okay, and it has to appeal to the obsessive sexual interest of the consumer, and taken in its entirety has to be without serious artistic or literary merit. Can you tell me...
Social or political?
Well, what should people do? Should
can
they
you tell...
to see an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie and gratuitous violence?
Bill, can this gentleman tell me that a lyric such as, I'll have to clean it up for you...
Say the words and don't believe it, then you're a censor if you do.
Why would you find it necessary to say that?
Doesn't know what's on
Mr.
the
DeMoss.
There may not be only adults here, pal.
There's a choice with the
What about-
This is a country with choices.
What about
I can say what I want, where I
Hold
want.
on. What about the porno flick?
Wait a minute.
What about the porno
Let us
flick?
make this point. Bob DeMoss.
Nice, Bob.
Yeah.
Real nice.
You're going to fall of your own weight if you continue to do this. Now you present, let me make this point. You present yourself as the protector of our children against this kind of material.
Look what it do.
And here we are on a family
the people that
television.
protest
All
the
right.
most often.
Hang on just one second.
As a kid.
Hang on just one
Can
second.
I give the lyric I was going to give and clean
Probably
it up?
not. No, I mean, listen,
Let me clean it up.
I gotta come back here tomorrow. I'd like to have the job.
Let me
Hang
clean
on
it
just
up.
a second. Let me help make your point. Here are some lyrics from S&M. Here we go, Luther. 2 Live Crew. Let me see if I can follow this. I'll read it and you watch it. You ready? Here we go. So I pulled a little girlie. This is what I did. Jumped into the rod, took her to the crib, rushed her in the room, sat on the bed.
Grabbed her by the ears as she gave me. Then I turned her over, got it from the back. The was sorry, so the got slapped. Then I took my out, laid it on her chest. She put it in the middle, then she squeezed her. As I got some feeling, this is what I said. Baby, please, just a little more.
Yeah, the bitch got slapped. That's not brutalization, Luther?
Hold on now. Everything that was up on that screen, everything that the man sung, people have done. Adults. Adults have had sex that way.
Against sex. We're against bad sex.
Hold on,
You treat women like
You
that.
have to decide what is good sex and bad sex.
Yeah. Well.
Let's put the
Yeah.
cards on the
Hold on
table
a
here.
minute. I would submit that the brutalization of women
wasn't
sexually is
brutal.
bad sex.
That wasn't brutal.
Yes.
That wasn't
Slapping her?
brutal.
What did she
Slap who? Where did I slap her?
Over here, please. Thank you.
If you're 18 years old, it's different, but I have nieces and nephews who are 10, 11, and 12 years old, and they're listening to it. Now, if one 13 or 14-year-old or 15, I don't know how old you have to be to buy it, they get it. They have a bunch of other little kids who listen to
Well,
it,
then
and they're
what do we do?
listening
They'll
to
get
it.
Budweiser, too. They'll get Budweiser.
Yeah.
So now what? Now what?
That's why I put
This
it
is a lot better.
Yeah, but that is totally disgusting.
They hear all those words in a
That-
gym locker
that makes me
room by the
sick.
time they're
I got one more for you. Can we see the... Well, hang on. Stay with me a second. Ready? Let me try one more on you. Assuming we're not playing organ music and showing slides of water lilies after Mr. DeMoss's comment, let me share with you. Here's one of the most popular figures of our culture today, certainly among young people, a very talented young man. Here's his video. His name is Bon Jovi. What do you think of this?